Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm me. I'm Rob. Let's get this show on the road.
Oh, yes. We got a big game coming in, but this might be the last one that I feel confident we have a chance to potentially win, unless we play the backups of the Eagles next week. Who knows? But
that's our best bet, and I don't have a lot of faith.
Listen, I'm not... you know what? I am... After doing research on the team, I am more confident than I was going into it prior to the research. That being said, I'm still not confident, but I'm saying there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Oh, yes. Now, before we do that, we're going to get a little bit of NFL news here for you guys here, because there's a lot of NFL things going around here with the quarterback position specifically here. So first off, and we'll go quick on the Russell Wilson thing tonight, because we spent a lot of time talking about Russell Wilson last night. I went on a little tirade if you missed it. If you missed it last episode, oh yes, talk all about the Russell Wilson situation. But today was announced that what they plan on doing is they must be doing a post. Oh, it was spicy. They said they're going to be doing a post June 1st cut of Russell Wilson. So if they do the post June 1st, he's on the hook if they cut him for $85 million pre June 1st. So that means they're going to split that amongst 2 years if it's a post. So that means Russell Wilson is going to cost $42.5 million against the Broncos cap next year and the year after. So it's like they're paying for a top flight quarterback they don't even have.
Pretty much.
Now, what makes no sense to me is if I look at the post June 1st, hypothetically, okay, he would have counted $22 million against the cap next year, 35 the year after that. And then they could have cut him and saved $5 million. But they're just trying to cut their losses quickly. But it's just like, damn, you're paying a lot of money
to rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, like rip the Band-Aid off. I guess, yeah, it's a lot of money. That's a trade that's going to be talked about for years to come amongst Bronco fans and NFL teams as they discuss whether to trade and give a lot of money to a quarterback. I mean, that's going to be something that's going to be like, well, remember the Russell Wilson Denver thing? Yeah, we're talking about that for a while. Trust me. Though I still say Sean Payton's a dick.
He definitely is.
The whole team. I'm just still pissed about it. It's a dick move all around for everybody. Other quarterback news. The Commanders have announced Jacoby Brissett will be starting at quarterback this week against the 49ers. So for all the talk we've had about what's going to happen here with Sam Howell, is Sam Howell going to be the long-term plans for them? It sounds like he is in the long-term plans to be their backup quarterback. Got 2 more years on his contract.
You could almost say that at the beginning of the year when they took him to a week, less than 2 weeks before the season, and named him the starter.
Yeah, but he was playing pretty well at the beginning of the season. You know, it's almost like he got hit less all of a sudden, and the line got better, and all of a sudden he got worse, which is weird.
He took a lot of sacks at the beginning of the year, and he started to get less sacks because through the first month and a half of football,
he was on pace to set records.
Yeah, he was the most. He had the biggest sack of all quarterbacks, if you will.
Oh yeah,
it's a lot of cup to fill.
But yeah, it's that's one more guy in competition for a quarterback now. The Commanders, so it's not and they're sitting right now at pick number 3, guys. So for all those people that are like, oh, Jaden Daniels, well, he might not be available. And there's a lot of rumors that they love Caleb Williams, but I don't see them getting Caleb Williams unless the Bears are convinced with Justin Fields and the
that might
Cardinals.
Be going to our 2-hour conversation last night.
Yeah.
Cutting it in a little bit.
I know.
The Bears were a little trady.
I'm just saying, I don't see it happening. There's a path, but I just don't see that path being the one that happens. But we'll see. Stranger things have happened. So just ask
Darius have done dumber things. So
yes.
Other
news.
Robbie could be right.
The Minnesota Vikings are going to be starting Jaren Hall, the rookie, at quarterback this week against the Packers. For all you guys who haven't placed your bets yet and want to know, I want to make sure you guys knew who the starting quarterbacks are this week, because that's a little craziness there. Sorry, that's just bad move all around by 3 teams in the NFL. Almost 10% of the league is starting the wrong quarterback.
Maybe more.
All righty, let's get into the game here, because of course, as always, what do we have to start with? We have to start with the injury report, and there's a lot of injuries there. So let's get our fun graphic going here. Let's get into it.
Drew, take it away like the dog's taking away the water.
What?
I said, take away the injury report.
Take away the water. I don't even get it.
No, I was about to say my dog's.
Oh, your dog's drinking a lot of water right now.
Chugging over the water. Yeah, he's a camel. So I was about to say, take away the injury report. I can mute.
Camel. All right. On to the injury report here. So Deonte Banks shows up with his shoulder injury. Did not practice Wednesday. Limited participant on Thursday. That's a good sign. We need him. Let's be very frank. We need Deonte Banks. They have 2 really good receivers, the Rams do. So we need him and Adoree Jackson at that point, healthy and ready to go. Yes. Lawrence Cager with the groin injury did not practice yesterday. Limited participant today. Again, good sign. Dexter Lawrence with the hamstring did not practice yesterday. Limited today. Again, I think he's going to be the same the rest of the season, where they probably just have him on a limited snap count set of situation there.
Listen, you got 2 games left and a hammy injury. Rest him up. Let him play the game.
I said this last week. I wouldn't even play him. Screw it. Games are meaningless anyway. You want to go in and lose him and have a long-term hamstring issue with a guy who just signed to a major contract? I'm good.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong.
Ashawn Robinson with back injury, limited participant. Today, did not practice yesterday. Nacho, Raheem Nunez-Roches, same thing with his knee injury. So it looks like a lot of guys that are banged up, but should be good to go to play. Saquon also on the list, limited participant yesterday, full participant today with the elbow. Ben Brett, what?
I was about to say, 100% healthy. Came out very early today.
Yeah.
Fantasy owners are in your finals at Barkley. Good to go.
Yeah. Ben Bredesen with a quad, limited participant yesterday, full today. Jamie Gillum, left groin, left knee. So basically the whole left side. Luckily, he's a righty. Limited participant the next 2 days, and he'll be good to go. Again, you want to ever know if a kicker or a punter is not going to play the game, you watch the wires to see what happens. If they start bringing people in to punt or kick and audition for them, that's when there's going to be some trouble there. So until you hear that, Jamie Gillen will be playing. Don't you worry. Adoree Jackson, the aforementioned ankle injury, limited participant yesterday, full today. Justin Pugh with the elbow injury, limited participant both days. Wandale, limited participant yesterday, full participant today with the quad. John Michael Schmitz, the center, with the shoulder injury, limited participant yesterday, full today. And Darren Waller with the knee injury, which, of course, obviously, we all talked about he was slow to get up in the last play against the Eagles. So there you go. Knee injury, limited participant yesterday, full participant today. Again, all these guys. Sorry,
Waller, does that bring up a question? Do we watch the unicorn right off into the rainbow at the end of this year?
We very well could. I mean, you and I have talked about this in the past. I would love to try to restructure the deal with him,
yes,
and get him to take less money, because he's about to be paid more money than anybody else will pay him. But you have to keep in mind that in order for that to happen, both sides have to be willing. Darren Waller could sit there and say, "Do I really want to restructure and go stay in the shitty offense, or do I want to get released and go somewhere else where I can perform better?"
This is true, but they could also look at his injury history and.
Here's what I'm saying though. Let's say he goes to a team that doesn't have a good tight end, but has a good offense, and goes and plays on a $5 million contract, hypothetically, on a 1-year deal, balls out. Does it's not even crazy. Just let's say 800 yards or something like that. Then he goes the next year, and he gets a good contract again. Because keep in mind, he's at that age where time is of the essence, guys. He's what, 31, I want to say? He's a little older than most of the Giants here. He's 31. Yeah, he's 31. So he'd be 32 next year, which means when you in free agency, if he was to go not this year, but next year into free agency, he's 32, almost 33.
So let's talk about teams that he could actually get paid for, that he could actually go to, because like there's not so many. Like, who's going to pick him up? Miami? They're going to have a lot to pay down the road.
Miami could. I mean, who knows? Who knows? I mean, that's the thing. You never know, because it all depends what happens to the teams this offseason.
Oh, I'm just saying. He's going to be a Charger with Bill Belichick.
I'm just saying that's the thought process. Is either he has to be willing to take the pay cut, or he's going to say, you know what, I don't want to take the pay cut because I can go somewhere else and ball out for a year, and then all of a sudden be much better.
What's the time limit on that contract?
There is.
Like,
I mean, so he's got.
What's like? When could we restructure that? Like after the draft?
You can always restructure. All it is having them agree to it and just tear up the contract as if it never happened. Yeah. You can always do that. So next year he's on a cap number of $14.5 million. We saved $7 million by cutting him. The year after that, 15.5, then 17.5. Just saying, he's not worth $14 million, $14.5 million.
Because he can't play 14 games.
It's not even that. If he was a 1,000-yard receiver still balling out like that, and he was, making a huge impact, but could you say that Darren Waller, and I talked very good about Darren Waller a couple weeks ago. We both did. And I'm not hating on Waller, and I think some people don't understand the amount of work and the amount of good stuff he's done on the field, but he's still not worth $14.5 million.
Yeah, when you're looking at the tight end position, and you're looking at what he can do and his availability.
Yeah, regardless, if he was healthy,
Well, say if he was more like a Kittle kind of player, they could block a little bit more.
Yeah. Yes.
That's different.
But I'm saying I'm taking out the injury stuff. Even if I'm sitting here saying, here's a guy who, if he was healthy this whole year, would have been like 850-yard receiver, which is very good from the tight end position still. But he is basically a receiver who plays tight end. Yeah, like you said, doesn't block. Yeah, I'm not paying him $15 million. Not going to happen. So that's going to be either a restructure or he's going to be bye-bye. That's what it boils down to. Anyway, on to the Rams and there, because they come in pretty healthy here. So to give you an idea of what they got in the IR here, because obviously we don't follow the Rams on a week-to-week basis here. Hunter Long, tight end, is on the IR. He's had one career catch in 3 seasons. I don't think they're missing him too much. Duke Shelley, the backup cornerback, is also on IR. So Alex Ward's their long snapper as well. So they do have the backup long snapper. Maybe that affects. I don't know.
Everyone needs a good
as far as who's on the and when you find one, you lock it down.
Yeah.
As far as the Rams injury report, though, Tre Tomlinson, which those who are wondering, that is the Tomlinson from TCU in this draft, the corner that Rob and I talked a lot about during the the draft time here, and I hope he does play because I want to see him. But he did not practice the last 2 practices here with a hamstring issue. But he's been on the field pretty consistent, folks, for them. I'm still saying that he should have been the guy we took in the draft.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does not play this game.
Yeah, he probably won't.
With all of everything that's happening with our offense right now and all the...
Well, it's also a hamstring, like you said. We talked about this with, we've had this problem. Obviously, we know hamstring issues. Yeah. We got it with Waller. We've had it with Thomas. It takes time.
Yeah, and the Rams are also going to get a wild card spot.
I mean, we'll see. I'm
pretty sure they get a wild card spot.
It's not guaranteed, but likely. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. And when this team gets hot, like they get hot.
They're hot right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so.
Yeah. We're going to discuss why they're hot, because there's actually one key player. There's one. I'm always hot. There's one key player who I think is the reason why they're hot right now. And it's not going to be
more than one, but yeah.
Oh, no, but I'm saying there's one very key player that I think is a huge difference maker right now, why this team is doing so well right now. And I'm going to tell you this. It's not Stafford, it's not Aaron Donald, and it's not Puka. So I'll leave you guys with that till we get to it.
I know exactly where you're going.
We're going
they're hot, but not as hot, but they're hot.
You're saying that because you read the history. You read the episode notes here. That's why.
No, because I've actually jumped on the Rams bandwagon about like 2 weeks ago, looking at them going to the wild card spot, thinking like, hey, this might be a team that could run the wild card spot to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, guys, they are 5-1 in the last 6 games, and they're basically a 500 team right now.
Yeah,
that just tells you
player back a few weeks back that's really helped change his offense.
Huge. Like this guy is, to be very frank, not even talked enough about as a potential MVP candidate. That's how much I like what he's done.
Just because
and no, it's not Cooper Kupp either. No, it's not Cooper Kupp.
It's just because it's position play. But enough with the hints. Let's move on.
Let's get into it because the very first thing we don't discuss their offense first. We discuss our offense first. So let's talk about when we're on offense. Oh yeah. So the Rams on for the season here averaged 22.1 points per game, 19th in the league, and they also the Rams allow 22.1 points per game, which is 19th in the league. Allow 337 yards per game, 18th in the league. They also allow 38.61% conversions on third downs, which is 19th. So in general, they're basically a below average defense, but there's also a whole lot worse ones in this league.
Yes, and
they're the better of the
lesser. They've also been on a hotter streak.
So hot, like hot.
So hot. It's so hot that in the past 6 games, like in the past 5 games, they've played a lot better defense. They've played a lot better offense. So
it's a very young defense. Very young defense.
Yes, and we're looking at these stats going through the whole year where they kind of like dipped out, where everyone forgot about them.
Dip.
It's like they forgot about Dre.
Well,
the
big thing with them really is one issue, and that's the big plays. So opponents tend to choose to attack them through the air, where they allow 231.2 passing yards per game, 22nd overall in the league. But what's interesting is they also allow just 60.34 completion percentage. That's 5th best in the league. Yet they also allow 6.5 yards per pass attempt, which is 19th. So this shows that while they allow a low percentage of completions, they are prone to giving up big pass plays, guys.
Yes.
So part of this
is Tyrod going to be able to throw down the field, or is Mr. Cutlets?
Yeah, it's going to be Tyrod Taylor. We'd already said he's going to be starting.
I know what I'm saying, but is he going to come in at halftime?
No, I don't. I think they're done. I think they're done with that train. I think they honestly, I think they rode that train, and not even to appease the fans like some people say. I think it's just because it was to give the fans. No, it's we were winning, but it was also to give the fans something fun to think about. I mean, when you look back at the season, and this is over, let's be honest. What's the best part of this whole season? It's right here. It's right here. Without this season, this season is absolute shit. And even it's still shit.
This is the second best part of the season. Take away week 2 when we beat Arizona, which
not that good. I like the Cutlet part better. I really do. I think that was more fun.
It was a nice Cinderella story.
Because I was a little pissed off week 2 because we should have won easily. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was one of those games you went into, like, we're going to win this. And then we're going to crush the first half.
Listen, if they beat Philly,
Motown Philly back again.
I'm just saying, if the Cardinals beat Philly, that means we're the only team in the NFC East.
They're not going to beat Philly.
We'll find out any given Sunday, my friend.
We'll see. Someone's been watching too many movies.
So many movies. Any given Sunday, Jimmy Fox was so good. Damn it.
Anyway, Al Pacino. So back to the game here. By the way, do you hear they discontinued the Dunkachino over at Dunkin' Donuts? I heard that.
No.
I always think
that's not back to the game. That's a complete opposite.
I know it is. But whenever you mention Al Pacino, I think of the Dunkachino. You ever see
What's that movie?
What's that movie with Adam Sandler where he plays himself and his sister? And Al Pacino's in it. He's like, Dunk-a-chino, Dunk-a-chino, Al Pacino, and the Dunk-a-chino. I don't know why I can't help but think of Al Pacino when I hear the Dunk-a-chino, which is, luckily not going to happen many more times because there's no more Dunk-a-chinos apparently. Anyway, part of the issues with the defense, why they're giving a big pass plays, maybe because of the fact the defense does allow a lot of time in the pocket. They got a 5.62% sack percentage, which is just 28th best in the league. They also don't intercept the ball very often, so teams aren't scared to take shots. 1.68% interception there, 26 worst in the league. So yeah, not very good in those two stats there. So this basically means that our offense, at least in my humble opinion, not that I'm humble, may just very well live or die based on the performance of deep threats like Jalin Hyatt and Darius Slayton.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping so, but I'm sure you don't have the numbers in front of you. I wish I did as well. But how many deep threats have they thrown this year?
What? Who's they? Sorry.
The Giants.
Oh, not very many.
Yeah, I was about to say under 5%. So
not
you want to take
many.
that 5% where they
I do.
that 4%.
I want to go for it. I want to go for the glory.
Listen, I agree. I think they're trying to run the ball.
If I'm being honest, it's kind of hard to talk about this game at a how the Giants can win mentality because, I don't want to win. I really don't. We have nothing to gain if we're out of the playoffs. Guess what time it is, guys? Oh, yes. It's tank time. It's tank time. It's time for the tank. Can't even complain to anybody because we have no shot of going to the playoffs now. So,
my big thing too is like as much as I want to say let's tank, I don't like that tank mentality. I also don't think we're beating the Rams at the end of the day. And I talked about this earlier. And with there's some hope.
I haven't won the last 6 games. Yeah,
and we got to play the Eagles again, and
they have as many wins in the last 6 games as we have the entire season.
Yeah.
it's not even a lie. That's a legitimate statement there. So
I had no rebuttal to that. I just had to say yeah. Because
you were thinking about it like, yes, the math does add up.
Yeah.
He's correct, sir.
You saw the math in my eyes going.
Yeah. There's like a little calculator going on behind his pupil there. I saw it. All right. Yeah, the run defense, though, it's a little bit better. It's still not great, but it's a little bit better. Pretty average overall, basically. 4.1 yards per carry against the run, which is 14th best in the league. 105.7 yards per game they give up. That's 13th best. So they're like slightly above average. Keep in mind, 32 teams in the NFL, 16 to 17 is average. So, they're a little bit better than average against the run. They're below average, but not terribly below average in the pass. So could be why teams want to, pass against them. Also because of the fact that, let's be honest, the offense throws the ball enough that you need to throw the ball to compete with them. It's part of it.
I was about to say that there's also schematics to that as well.
Yes.
But, you also got one of the best running backs in the league. You're going to have to take advantage of some of that, which I also
2 of the best running backs in the league this week.
Hey, we said no say ways till later.
I'm just saying there's 2 but the best running backs in the league in this game. I didn't say anything else.
Right. I'm just saying that when you got Barkley in the backfields, you have to respect him, which will open up our run, our throw game. But to how much? Like, what are we going to be able to do?
Yeah, and let's be honest, the line hasn't really opened up great holes from the last couple of weeks. No. Let's talk about some of the people to watch out for on the Rams defense here overall. So Ernest Jones is a big name to watch because he's got 132 tackles on the season. Not only is that a goddamn high number, but he has almost 50 tackles more than the next guy on the list.
Yeah.
So, that's a guy who's everywhere the ball is, guys. So expect to hear Ernest Jones named quite often.
It's like when he saves Christmas for Chicago or whatever town he was from. Right after defeating the Trolls.
It's not Ernest Saves Christmas or Ernest Goes to Jail. It's not that guy.
I didn't say Goes to Jail. It's Ernest Carrick Stupid. God.
Whatever. There's so many Ernest movies. I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
I know, it's been forever, like 20 years. Oh, God, I'm old.
Now, we talked about the fact that obviously their pass rush isn't great, but one danger to it is the fact that it's very diversified. It's not one guy you look to stop and you stop it. So as far as their leaders against sacks, got Kobe Jones, who's got 6.5 sacks. Aaron Donald, obviously you guys probably have heard of him once or twice, 6 sacks of the season. Byron Young's got 6 as well. Ernest Jones, linebacker's got 4.5, and linebacker Michael Hoyt has 4.5 as well. So, like I said, there's a couple of guys that will occasionally get a sack, and that's basically where they're at there. Aaron Donald, ironically enough, we talked about the 5-1 of the last 6 games, only half a sack in the last 6 games. So
yeah,
something's up there. Either Father Time's starting to catch up a little bit, or there's an injury that we don't know about and they're not telling us about because Aaron Donald hasn't said anything. One of the two's going on.
Could be.
Or
he's just creating pressure for everyone else.
As far as the interception side there, Akello Witherspoon, cornerback, leads them with 3 interceptions. Safeties Jordan Fuller and John Johnson, the third, Esquire, each have 2. And they got 2 others that have 1 each, and that's it. Like I said, not a lot of picks, guys. No great sack artists, not a lot of picks. This is a game that we should be able to open up the passing game against because this is the way to beat them. They're worse against the pass. They give up bigger plays. They give you time in the pocket. They don't intercept the ball very often. This is the chance to open up that playbook in the pass game and go a little cray.
If our quarterback play allows it.
It doesn't matter. You just have to do it. At a certain point, you got to take off the goddamn booties and the binky.
Listen, I agree. I'm not saying, listen, if they throw 80% of the time in a deep ball, how many times are we going to complete it?
If you what? One more time.
If we throw 80% of the time down the field, with our quarterback play, well,
we're not going to do 80% because 80%.
I'm just saying. All right, we do 20%.
That's fine. I'll take 20%. Let's say we take 5 or 6 shots down the field. Let's say that hypothetically in the game.
I think we should probably do more if we're going to.
I don't disagree with that, but I don't think we're going to. It's not the way we play offense, unfortunately. We should.
Well, that's what I'm trying to point out.
Really fast. We have really fast receivers, and we have, if he's, depending on how healthy he is, a really fast tight end. We should be doing 9 rounds down the damn goddamn field and just throw the ball. Just chuck it and hope for the best.
Yeah.
But again, I don't want to win, so I hope we don't.
Well, that's ties into what I think they're going to do is pretty much give the ball to Barkley.
Honestly, I don't think they want to win. I don't think they want to win. I hate to say it that way because I know there's the competitive juices and all that kind of stuff, and I'm sure the players want to win. Don't get me wrong. But do you really think that some of these guys, like, do you think Joe Shane's like, oh, I hope we win this one? No, he's like, fuck it, I want a quarterback.
I think it's also to the point where you can still be competitive and lose.
Yes, like last week.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, I'll be happy with that. Listen, if we lose by like a field goal or a touchdown, I'll be happy. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I don't want to get blown out.
What was the spread?
I don't want to get embarrassed.
The spread was yesterday 6.5.
I think something like that. I don't have it in front of me right now.
Yeah, I think it was 6.5. Like, if we beat the spread, I'm okay with that. As I pull up the spreads.
Oh, well, I hope you are okay with that because that's what I put.
Well, actually, that's
right. I picked us against the spread, and you didn't. No, you put Rams. 6 and.
No, I thought you said you put 6.5.
I'm in the wrong one. I'm in the wrong week here.
Oh, jeez.
Let's see here. Giants got 6.
Okay, so.
Yeah, you did put Rams. So, well, yeah, we shall see what happens. I mean, time will tell, but that's what I'm hoping for, a close game. So, all right, let's get on to when we're on defense, because let's be honest, if you're talking about the Rams, that's the more exciting part of the football, really, is the offense, because of a few, really big stars that they got going right now in that team here. So let's talk about the defense here. Oh yeah. So Rams score 23.8 points per game. That's 8th best in the league. They put up 363.9 yards. That's 7th best. The only major offensive category they're not in the top 10 is their third down percentage, which is 41.38%. That's 12th best in the league. So still not too shabby, above average. Though it also doesn't matter very much because they put up an average 5.6 yards per play. Now,
I was going to say,
what's the math times 2 on that?
Oh, it's like 11 and change. So 11.2.
Yeah,
they get a lot of first downs before third down comes around.
Exactly. So that's 5.6 yards per play, by the way, is 6th best in the league. This is an elite offense in this league. This is not like the top 3, don't get me wrong. But
and
this is
I also want to reiterate what we said earlier, that this offense has come to life.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we said 6 weeks, but in the past 2 months, they've really put themselves together. Like they went on a slump.
Yes.
At the beginning of the year. So
well, that's when Stafford was hurt as well, too. Keep in mind, Stafford was also hurt at that time period.
I wanted to reiterate that.
Yes.
Because they're going in on a tear going into the wild card spot. Which
that's the wild card I wouldn't want to face right now.
No, because you want to talk about Matt Stafford in the playoffs hot with Cooper Kupp and another name we will mention.
You know what I want to see? You know what I want to see? I want to see the Rams at the Lions in the playoffs.
I do so much. I was going to say that.
Oh my God!
About revenge games.
Stafford versus
was I talking about last night? When I was talking about
you
talk about the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, like Stafford versus Goff. That's what I want to see.
Listen, if I had the perfect matchup, and if I see the playoffs working out the way I want to see them, you got the Lions. Well, you would have the Rams at the Lions because the way it would match up. And then you would have the Browns at the Ravens. Revenge game for the championship round. Nonstop.
Yes. Oh, yeah, no. Listen, Lions, Rams, Browns, Ravens. Hells yeah. Sign me up for that. Those matchups, man.
Especially both those wildcard teams are really, they're so hot. So hot right now. So hot.
Like Hans.
Yeah, that Hans.
Yeah. So I'm trying to look right now. To see. So yeah, the Rams are number 6 right now. And
they're kind of at that spot because they're probably not going to surpass Dallas. So they're probably stuck at the 5 spot.
Yeah, you know what? Right now, if the postseason started today, that'd be the matchup. Actually, be the Rams and the Lions. We get our wish.
Ooh, that'd be more saucy.
That'd be nice. That'd be so saucy.
So
anyway,
what are we talking about? The AFC. Then we get the Browns and the.
Back to the game here. Back to the game. Again, sidetracked. Oh my gosh. Pop some Ritalin down real quick. So as much as we talked about their defense giving up big plays, their offense definitely provides many of their own. They're just 29th in the league at 60.95% completion percentage, yet 10th in the league at 6.9 passes per attempt, and 10th in the league at 241.9 passing yards per game. So same kind of situation. They don't get a high percentage of shots, but they take a lot of deep shots. So that's the kind of offense we're looking at here. This is not the screen plays and the short dinks and dunks and the hook routes. This is we're doing post patterns down the field. We're doing 9 routes. That's what the kind of stuff that they're doing here. Now, the line also does a damn good job of protecting Matt Stafford. They have a 5.06 sack percentage. That's 3rd best in the league. So that means 95% of the time, he ain't getting sacked. That's a pretty high percentage. He also has been protecting the ball pretty well as his backup. Obviously, you missed the 1 game there. He got a 1.19 interception percentage, at 10th best in the league there. So Matt Stafford on the year, 62% completion percentage himself there, with 3,649 yards, 23 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Again, he missed the 1 game. As far as his weapons, Puka Nacua, the big one everybody wants to talk about. 96 catches, 1,327 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So, yeah, one hell of a season he's having. And I think I don't have the exact number, but he's got it in route of possibly breaking the rookie record for receiving yards there.
He's on pace.
Yeah. So let me see here. I'm going to look it up. Receiving record. We're going to look that up in the meantime while we're going to everybody else here. So the other big name we talked about, Cooper Kupp. Obviously, he was like the best receiver in all of football there just a couple of years ago when the Rams were on their Super Bowl run. Came back from injury, missed the first 4 games. 55 catches, 710 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So, still a pretty damn good, record overall. So, definitely can't hate on that one. That's for sure. So yeah, I'm looking it up here. 1,473 is the record. He's at 1,327. He needs about 100 and Oh, Dakota's actually got in the comments there. 143 yards is what he needs. So yeah, that's very obtainable. Very obtainable. And I hate to say it, but he's got to obtain it probably next week because it's the one thing the Giants been doing pretty good is they've been doing pretty good against some of these bigger receivers a lot of times. So I think he's not going to have a huge day against us, but we'll see. Third receiver on the team is Tutu Atwell, 36 catches, 476 yards, 3 touchdowns. Tyler Higbee, their tight end, also being utilized pretty decent amount there, 41 catches, 433 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, I just mentioned 4 players. Those 4 players is basically 3,000 of the 3,800 yards they've thrown for this season as a team. So that just tells you these are the guys they like to throw to. There's not a lot of there's like a couple other guys like 100, 200 yards. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing. There's nobody else they're really throwing the ball that often to. So something to keep an eye on is those 4 guys specifically. Can the Giants key on those 4 guys and force them to throw the ball to people they don't necessarily want to? Because that's probably the best bet to take Matt Stafford out of his comfort zone. Because you're not going to do it by blitzing him as much as Wink wants to. That's a good offensive line.
But, I mean, I also want to talk about what we alluded to quite a bit earlier. We're gonna bring up that they're probably an MVP player, which should be in the talks of being the MVP.
Yeah.
We need to bring up Mr. Caleb Williams here.
Well, no, not Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is going to be in the draft.
Oh, sorry.
Kyren Williams.
Yes.
Kyren Williams. So on the year, the Rams were averaging 122.1 yards per game on the ground at 10th best. They're averaging 4.4 yards per game per carry, which is 9th best. Kyren Williams is the big reason why. 1,057 yards rushing on the season, 5.1 yards per carry on the season there, and that's 9 touchdowns. That's just 11 games, folks.
I was about to say, he missed.
Yeah.
A good stretch.
Now, the last 6 games, because the first couple of weeks he was a little slow, more like the 40, 50, 60 kind of yard, which is still not bad, don't get me wrong, but not this level. The last 6 games, we talked about how they're 5-1 at that time period. That's because of this guy specifically. In the last 6 games, 759 yards in the ground there. That's 126.6 yards per game. That's a 2,000-yard season. That's the kind of pace we're talking about over the last 6 games.
I mean, can he keep it up? I don't know, but my God, you have to be rooting for
5.8 yards per carry, guys. That's goddamn ridiculous. And you could sit there and say it's that it's a fluke, whatever. But look at his backup as well, Royce Freeman, 317 yards, 4.3 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. Their offensive line is just really good at opening up holes, protecting the quarterback, and it makes everybody else's job much easier. I know as a Giant fan, this is a really weird concept. Having a good offensive line helps the offense. Let me repeat it again. Having a good offensive line helps the offense.
100%.
Now, if someone could just email a clip of this real quick to Joe Shane, having a good offensive line helps the offense. Having a good offensive line helps the offense. Having a good offensive line helps the offense.
It's like Giants fans have been talking about this for like a decade at this point.
Yeah. And that's not to take away from Kyren Williams. I'm not trying to do that. Like he's doing his thing. He's been doing very good overall, and it's not the offensive line just that, but it helps. It definitely helps, and they have to get some of the credit along with him in this. So
yes.
By the way, today's a bubble tea, not a beer. Don't worry. Bubble tea.
My
Actually got boba. It's got boba right in it, actually.
Ooh.
Anyway.
Hey, you want to hit some of these comments? Because we got a guy that might be signing out soon.
We're about to do that because that's the next thing going to be the final thoughts. So we're gonna get to the comments. We're gonna pay the bills, and we're gonna give you guys all our final thoughts in the game here. So Deb starts us off with, "I'm late, but hi guys." Hi Deb. Hi. She says, "Did you go over anything more about Russell Wilson?" We just went over the fact that he's going to be that they're already announced pretty much the plan is to release him at the offseason, do a post June 1st, so they can split the bill. So they're going to be paying him a ton of money over the next couple of years, basically, which is just insanity. Dakota says, Hey, Dakota.
Hi.
He says, 140th yards. He was answering a question about Puka that we had to look up before. And then, of course, that's what I love about it. Everybody's like in the comment section, chit chats. That's what I love about the community that we have and people that listen. Deb says, Hi, Dakota. How's the new Papa? Was this your first one? We have to learn the backstory of the listeners, too. He says, In my fantasy ship, boys. He's in the championship. Good luck, Dakota, with
there
that.
We go. Kudos.
You've had enough good news this week, Dakota. You don't need that, too.
Oh, no, I hope you win your fantasy, too. Help you with those diapers.
Dakota says, My second, I have a 2-year-old girl. Oh, there we go.
Congratulations, my man.
Dakota says he's very tired lying in bed with an AirPod at the hospital. Well, very proud of, he says. He says, I think it's hard for the GM of the New York Giants to draft an unknown tackle at risk of failure in the news market. Yeah, pretty much anything is hard for that.
They've been suspect to that. Well, they've definitely been dealing with that for the past quite a few years at this point.
Yeah. So, and he says, not unknown, but it's hard to evaluate tackles when you only have so many picks and eyes are on you. I think, and I still think this. I still think that the issue the Giants have on the offensive line, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, that what's going to end up happening is the Giants are going to have to realize that they need a legit O-line coach here. And I talked about Mike Munchak specifically countless times on this show. But until they get somebody who can teach young offensive linemen, they're not going to reach the potential. I mean, look how bad Andrew Thomas looked at the beginning. We almost ruined that guy even.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's, especially after the Seahawks beat us this year, like, we faced their straight up second linemen, and they just look way better than us. Like, there's only a point. Like, Dakota, I'm going to give you a compliment with your Eagles right now because look at their offensive line coach. Because even with all the injuries coming through, it doesn't look like they're really missing a beat on that line. They're missing beats somewhere else, but a good offensive line coach goes a long way for your offense in general.
So it also goes a long way with the refs on your side too, Dakota.
Burn!
Oh. Let's see. Deb says also, she said, I heard his agent was asked last October to redo his contract or else this would happen, and they refused. So from everything I heard, it wasn't necessarily to redo the whole thing. It was one specific clause, which was the injury guarantee money. They wanted that put off. So that way, if he did get hurt this season, that they wouldn't be on the hook for the money that was going to be then guaranteed for 2025, which would have increased the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, it's insane. I mean, that whole situation is just insane. And I can't blame him for saying no. Why would he say no?
Especially at his age, he's done this before. Like, you signed with a legit organization. Like, why? They brought you in here to be this hero. They gave you this big contract. Yeah, you had a very, very subpar year. Why would you
very bad year last year?
Yes. Why would you renegotiate? Because this is what you.
Again, he hasn't been bad this year. He hasn't been bad this year.
Not at all. He was above average. There's weeks where he was top 10, even top 5, but he was above average for most of the year.
It was funny. Sean Payton said, I can't replace the whole offensive line. I can't replace all the receivers, but I can replace the quarterback. Why can't you?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
It makes absolutely no goddamn sense. You have a guy who's got a resume, who's been good this year.
So what's your plan? You're gonna take a guy that's in the draft that's never been to an NFL playoff game or never been to an NFL Super Bowl when you have a quarterback now who's on his way out, but he's also not his way in, but he's had the experience. And he's shown improvement under what you can do. You put a little bit more talent around this guy.
Yeah, I mean, to me, if the receivers have underwhelmed this year, and they've underwhelmed in general for a little while there.
I was going to say they've been underwhelmed for. Everyone talks how great Judy is or how great Sullivan is. Like they put up some yards, but they're not. They're no. I'm gonna say Brown. They're no. You know.
Here we go. I'm going to use this because I hear Dakota talking about here, and we'll get to the other comment on the line here a little bit here. But he says he hasn't been good this year, average. And then he says Russell's a fake human being, probably a cyborg. I'll agree with you on that part there.
Maybe.
But he hasn't been good this year, average. Okay, Dakota, I'm going to use your buddy. I'm going to use your buddy, Jalen Hurts, in this example. Okay, so Jalen Hurts has thrown the ball 50 more times this year than Russell Wilson has. So just for examples there, if we talk about passing yards, touchdowns, he gives you a better example as far as percentages and what he's done and stuff like that. Jalen Hurts has 3,600 passing yards. Russell Wilson's got 3,000. Jalen Hurts, 20 touchdowns. Russell Wilson, 26. Jalen Hurts, 13 interceptions. Russell Wilson, 8. And, of course, you're already saying total touchdowns and turnovers. Listen, I don't think you want me going over turnovers when we compare Jalen Hurts to anybody, okay? It's not going to
Jalen Hurts has not a good year this year. That's not. It's not good, if it was last year, that's like us arguing about Daniel Jones.
And, again, I'm not saying that Russell Wilson is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. I'm just saying he's not a bad quarterback this year. I'm not saying he's great. I'm not saying you necessarily go to get him to build around him. But what I'm saying is if you already got him, why not try?
Yeah, I know. I agree. That's what I've been saying.
You already got him.
You already are paying this guy money. You're going to lose more money. You're going to lose more money to get rid of this guy to rip the Band-Aid off.
Seriously.
If you want to take a guy later in the round to sit behind him, that's one thing. But like, you already got this guy, like, and you're paying him this money who's already had the leadership roles. Like, granted, like he's had some bad mojo around the past couple of years, which seems like this past year you didn't hear about that. So it sounds like kind of maybe backed off it, maybe he came back down to reality. But like, you have this guy that has forced to be honest with you. Most likely, who knows? Whatever. But he still.
I think honestly, Daniel Hackett let him do whatever the fuck he wanted last year, and I think Sean Payton reined that in early on.
Well, he's definitely about that, and I talked about it last night that Sean Payton likes the guy that throws in the pocket, throws into steps, but Russell Wilson's more of a free thrower, but he's also a leader. He's had the problems, but he's been the guy that's had the experience. To take a guy out of college that has none of the experience and you're taking a gamble on, you know what you have. So why spend more money to get rid of him is my big thing.
My big thing is what I really want to do is I would love to hear from the players on the Broncos on their thoughts on this. And let's be very frank. They're not going to talk about it because guess where they have to work still? You know what I'm saying? Like they can't just go screw it. We're sick of this. We're going to go ahead and go play somewhere else because, you know, we don't like the way that Russell Wilson was treated. They don't have that option. So they're going to shut up. They're not going to say trash because A, they don't have a loud personality. It's not like they have a star power besides Russell Wilson on the team. But B, because they got to play there. But I'm telling you, I would love to hear the players' thoughts on this whole thing. I really would. But you know what we're doing again?
Yes,
we're ranting again about Russell Wilson. We still got a game to talk about, guys. We still got a game to talk about.
Let's finish these final thoughts.
Let's ride. Let's get back to the game here. Let's go to our final thoughts here. And you know what my first final thought is? My first final thoughts before we do the final thoughts, we got to pay the bills.
Russell Wilson
enjoying the show, looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
Oh yeah. All right, guys, let's get to those final thoughts here. So, first final thought: stopping Kyren Williams is the key to the game. I think it's pretty safe to say, and it's also not been our strong point to stop the run. Let's be very frank on that one,
especially if Sexy Dexy's not playing.
Yeah. As Dakota just puts in, I'll pray every day of my life he goes to the Giants. He's not going to the Giants, guys. Russell Wilson is not going to the Giants. No, Russell Wilson. He's not going. People talk about it all day long. He's not going to the Giants. Stop.
No.
We already have a quarterback with a huge contract that we're going to have to pay next year as it is, and he's going to be along with a rookie. Call it a day. It's done. Anyway, so Kyren Williams, we got to stop him. I don't think we have a shot in hell of stopping him. I don't think we're that good against the run. But yeah, like you said, we got guys like Nacho and Ashawn Robinson. Ashawn Robinson, Nacho, those guys back and healthy next week, then it goes a big way towards helping. But yeah, I think you'll have a field day against us, to be very frank.
Maybe a field day. Okereke has been pretty good, but once you get to Okereke,
here's the problem. Okereke's 5 yards down the field.
I was about to say, once they get to Okereke, it's a little too far of a run.
Yeah, exactly. The other point with that is you can't allow that attempt to stop Kyren Williams to cause us to give up the big passing plays because we're stacking the box or anything like that, because that's their offense. So, and it's funny you mentioned Bobby Okereke. I really think the best thing to do is, instead of QB spy, do RB spy, basically with Okereke.
Yes.
That really is probably the best bet. And it may not stop the 5-yard runs, but it'll stop the 10-yard runs. Just saying.
Yeah.
It's something I could see happening, and something I wouldn't mind seeing happening in the game. Good idea overall, I think. Interesting stat I came across as well that I didn't even know where to put, because we don't really talk about special teams that often. But here's an interesting fact.
Especially this year.
Yeah. Well, let's be very frank. It's boring. We don't know too much on opposite teams, special teams overall, unless we're playing a guy with like one of the elite kickers, something like that. But yeah, the Rams have just a 74.42% completion percentage in field goals. That's it. That's 30th worst in the league, guys. So that's a big thing about stopping them in the end, from getting in their end zone. If you stop them in the red zone for a field goal, guess what? Reality is, you might not make that field goal.
Yeah, they've gone through kickers, field goal kickers this year like underwear. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
they've had some injuries over there,
and they've had guys just can't hit it. That's what it basically means. Yeah. So, yeah, I just like I said, something to keep an eye on, because watching the game, we talked about being close. Watch it be going down to it's, coming down to a field goal at the end of the game kind of situation, like it was against the Patriots.
Yeah.
In that scenario, if you're a Rams fan and you're sweating a little bit, you are sweating a little bit. Another thought here: Tyrod Taylor has a chance to showcase his skills right before he hits the free agency. Will he make the most of it?
It's going to be hard, but we shall see. I mean, like we alluded to, if he could if they don't scheme to what they like to do, the little play action dink and dunk plays, and actually throw the ball down the field, it may look a little better going to this free agency, because we probably will not keep him, because Mr. Cutlets might be our backup next year.
Yeah,
at a lot cheaper rate.
He'll be the third quarterback next year. my own personal opinion, he's gonna sit the practice squad there to try to develop him into a backup, or they might just let him go because the fact they benched him so quickly tells me they don't care much about him. Hate to word it that way, but it's the truth.
I mean, I won't go that far.
I will. I went that far. I went there. They rode the Cutlet train as long as they wanted to, and the second he had a bad half, and they thought that it was time to make the switch, and the magic was over, they just went ahead and switched. If they wanted to care about his development in any way, shape, or form, they would have kept him in.
Or they don't want to ruin him.
Ruin him? You don't think you ruined him by taking him out? Hey, it's great confidence now.
I don't know. He respected it. He already came out, publicly said it.
The business decision. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
He's not happy. Anyway, the other part of Tyrod Taylor on the switch there is, according to rumors, the team, meaning the players, thought Tyrod gave them the best chance to win. So does this change at quarterback get them now pumped up? Like, if you're the defense, are you a little more excited about playing this week because you have who you think is the better quarterback on the field instead of riding the pine? I can see that we get a little pumped up team a little bit there.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. Boop, boop, boop. Just a little bit. Suck it to me. And another one we talked about there a little while ago, but we just got to briefly mention it. You haven't really heard much of Aaron Donald's name this year. How dominant is he still at 32? Again, only half a sack in the last 6 games. Is he hurt? Is it age catching up? To me, Sutton's not necessarily all right there.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a lot of different things. Like,
that's why I'm saying I'm not gonna claim to know it. I don't know his, I don't know his medical history like that. But I mean, he also had, just 5 sacks last year as well, which is part of why you look at that going, okay, this was a guy who used to put up 12 sacks a year like it's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, also the Rams team last year was a little banged up.
Yeah.
All around.
And he also played 11 games, but
yeah. And I have not watched the Rams on defense that closely to be like, I see the guys everyone's trying to block and everyone else is getting in there. I see the guy putting a little pressure on, or like his Father Time sprinkling his little gray hair on him.
I'm just, I really start to think it's Father Time. I really do. I mean, I look at the, his sack total. I don't know. Again, we talked about the show. Sack totals are not everything. I don't try to make it seem like that. We've been very clear on that
always
before.
Constantly getting pressure, but that's one thing.
But when you're consistently getting a high number of sacks, then all of a sudden you're not. Then I guarantee you look down the line and everything else, the pressures, the QB hurries, the QB hits, all that stuff have gone down as well. And if you look at the numbers, that'll tell you that. I have his stats up right now, actually.
I was about to say, because, listen, if he gives up less sacks or, doesn't get as many sacks, but he, gets more pressures, he's lost a step. But
yeah,
if he's giving up
his QB hits this year. His QB hits this year aren't horrible. He's at 21 QB hits. So to put that in perspective, he was his rookie year, he had a crazy sack ratio. He had 9 sacks, only 13 QB hits. After that, he had 37, 31, 27, 41, 24, 28, 25. So he's on pace to do what he's done for most of the last couple of years there, as far as that. But again, when he has 6 sacks, he had 5 the year before in 11 games. When he had 11 QB hits last year as well. 12.5 sacks year before that, 13.5, 12.5, 20.5, 11, 8, 11, 9. Like I said, I'm just starting to wonder if he's maybe, and I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I say he lost a step. He's still an above average, defensive tackle. He's still a Pro Bowl caliber defensive tackle. He's just not the best player in the league necessarily anymore. That's where I'm at with him. But still dangerous player. And listen, even the oldest players who were once elite, every so often go into a game and look elite again. Just for a game. like a reminiscent game. It's a renaissance game for them.
Especially against a terrible offensive
Consider
line.
the way our offensive line has played lately, guys.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially against the interior of our offensive line. Yeah. He could come back and surprise some people. So, all righty, guys. So, we already told you we don't think the Giants will win this game. We've already said that very clearly. I'm hoping. Rob hasn't said it. I don't put words in his mouth there, but I'm hoping we don't win. I want the pick. I hate to say it that way. But, yes, the Tankathon is on.
I want to be right in my spread.
So, you want the Rams to win for that reason?
I want the.
Just say you want us to lose. Just say you want us to lose. It's okay.
That's exactly what I said. By I was saying that we're going to lose last night against the spread as well. I just think. I think you're going to have to eat some crickets next week or something, Drew, because we haven't picked anything in a while.
We got to pick. We got to pick something. We'll have to figure that out because we didn't even do anything last week because we didn't think of it. But it's partially because I was battling a fun illness there last week, so I've been kind of like lately.
Yeah,
yes, that's a word.
Early this week.
Yeah. So, alrighty, guys. We'll be on live for you guys as soon as the game is over on Sunday. So tune on in. If you haven't already, hit the like, hit that subscribe, hit all the buttons except the dislike. That's the one button you can't hit on YouTube. The YouTube gets very upset when people hit the dislike button. So
don't do it.
But appreciate you guys for listening in. Like I said, we're back again there for you, and then. Next week, we wrap up the regular season. Ooh, who would have thought? Next week will be the last Giants game we have for, till September.
Till preseason.
That sounds. They don't count. They don't count.
And listen, we'll be excited in August when we get to talk about it. So,
and then we'll be disappointed once you have to watch it.
Pretty much.
Let's call it what
we'll still be excited. We'll still be excited.
We'll still be somewhat excited. We'll still talk about them. But yeah, we know just everybody else that it's all bullshit until the regular season hits. So, all right, guys. We'll see you guys on Sunday right after the game. Appreciate you guys. As always, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and of course, Rob's favorite,
Drew's LinkedIn
profile. And of course, as always, we are available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms. So whether it's Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Google Podcast, all these different fun things
those
out
are
there.
Ditched.
Yeah, we're on them all. So if you don't find us on your podcast platform, guess what that means? You're using the wrong one. So what you should do is download the 15 that we're on, subscribe.
15 plus, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you should do. I mean, literally download them all and subscribe on all. It helps us. So
be fantastic.
Exactly. So we'll see you guys again, of course, on we'll see you guys on Sunday after the game. I was going to say Mondays was last week. It's Monday. Sunday. Afternoon. And appreciate you guys as always. And as always, Giant fans.
Go G-Man!
Go G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support. If you made it this long, you must have enjoyed it. So I am sure you have followed us on all the social media platforms. Of course, you have subscribed to the show on your favorite app as well and given us a top rating. Right?
Thank you to those who have signed up for our silver gold levels of membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.